This is the Xpeng G6, the updated version which offers revised styling, faster charging, upgraded technology, sharper pricing, but of course the big news with Xpeng, they have come into Australia directly, which means true EV is out and as a result a better ownership structure for future customers. Well, that's what they've said. But is that enough to convince you buying into this brand? Well, I'm going to be completely honest in this detailed review, so let's find out, shall we? Now first, what do you need to know before walking into a showroom? Well, as I said, pricing is much more attainable, now starting at $51,000 excluding on-road costs, and that does make this a lot more competitive comparing this to a BYD C-Line 7, the Zeekr 7X, the Tesla Model Y, and the model range has also been updated. You can see a breakdown on your screen right now. And I'm testing the rear-wheel drive long-range version, which has a price tag from $56,000. And options specific to this grade include 4 external colours. There are also 2 interior colours to pick from as well. And then when it comes to the ownership, Xpeng ANZ offers a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty. There's also an 8-year battery warranty, 12 months roadside assistance free, and every service is every 12 months or 20,000 kilometres. And yes, it has been a shaky start between Xpeng and True EV, but I'm not going to give you my personal opinion on that matter. But yes, customers couldn't get parts, there were no servicing centres, no support. And also, tell me what you think of Xpeng ANZ's new ownership structure for Australia. Is there room for improvement? Let me know your feedback in the comments below. Now, when it comes to styling, a lot of these new brands look identical. They look modern, but they look all the same. However, this, according to Xpeng, has a Starship-inspired fastback silhouette, so a coupe SUV, and up front an LED light bar replacing the earlier split setup, additional lighting down below with piano black, and some more gloss black on the front, side and rear. Then looking down the side, distinctive 20-inch alloy wheels with gloss black inserts, Michelin tyres, not Giddy tyres like on other cheaper brands. You also get power folding mirrors, which is useful for city driving, pop-out door handles, walk up and walk away door locking and unlocking, but there is no privacy glass, and the large panoramic roof has no sun cover, but it is tinted. And then checking out the back, we have LED tail lights with an Xpeng logo on the tailgate, along with an integrated ducktail spoiler to improve aerodynamics. Let's now talk about the interior. So it comes across minimalistic, super premium and high tech, but it also looks very much the same as every other Chinese EV. For example, you have a screen up here with pages upon pages of menus, and up here, a screen and a 2-spoke wheel, which feels unusual to grip onto, and down here, wireless phone charging, plus a 2-tone black and white colour combination. And although the technology does work much better than some of the other cars in the segment, a Zeekr 7X feels more special on the inside. But in saying that, this does feel super premium and well built. You have electronic door handles, a solid door slam, ambient lighting across the door panel, and that feels nice and soft where you rest your elbow, and up here some suede across the roof lining, and down here soft padding where you rest your elbow on the center console, working your way up top, up here as well, and some open pore fake wood grain. You also have some plastic on the lower sections, which is to be expected, and the steering wheel, it's just a little bit too big and a bit awkward to grip onto, but you do get manual tilt and reach adjustment, buttons on the wheel. The steering wheel can also be heated, and your gear selector is up here as well. And you do also get Napa leather upholstery. They're also perforated, but they do lack under-fire support, which is a bit of a shame. You do also get electric seat adjustment, seat memory function, power lumbar support, along with seat heating, ventilation, and a massage function, which does work pretty well. And within the screen, your climate control menu, so dual zone climate control with many different menus to configure, And this screen is 15.6 inches in size, and like with most new brands, pages upon pages of menus. But down here, you can access your climate settings pretty easily. You've got shortcuts into apps, camera system, media functions, car functions, and back into home. And you can also set up driver profiles to save and store settings. The car is also connected, which means you can run software updates. And the system does respond pretty quickly. It's not laggy and the definition is clear, but if you do find it daunting at first, don't worry, you can rely on the voice control system.
I'm listening.
Open the window.
Okay.
And you can also ask it to switch on the heated seats, for example, adjust the climate control, go into a certain media function, or even ask it to switch off the lane keeping assistant. And media functions include DAB, FM radio. You can also connect up Bluetooth, USB connections, there's Spotify, and many different media apps, wireless Apple CarPlay, and wireless Android Auto. Two features that you don't get on a Model Y, for example. There's inbuilt navigation with 3D mapping, but although you do get 18 speakers and speakers on the headrests, I didn't find it that good. And then going into the car icon, you can look at vehicle status, tyre pressures, energy consumption. Then going into window and doors, this is where you can open the charge port, the boot release, the windows, and then going into lights, your light functions, plus you can also change the customizable ambient lighting. And then going into seats, your seat adjustment, massage function, and then drive modes between eco, comfort, sport, and individual. So you can customize the power response, the steering, the brake pedal feel, and the regen braking. And there are also many different menus for your driver assistance. So that is all customizable, or your active safety, your driving setup, plus your parking features, and many different configurations when it comes to imaging, the display, device connections, and various settings to cycle through. However, unlike a BYD C-Line 7, there is no head-up display, but unlike a Model Y, for example, you get a screen up here, which is also slightly customizable in terms of which menu you want to see. Next, going into safety, you get a 360 camera with many different angles, views, curbside views, and the picture quality does look pretty good. And the definition does look pretty clear. It's pretty similar in terms of quality to the BYD's camera setup. And there are also front and rear parking sensors, rear cross traffic alert. There's an auto dimming mirror with a digital rear view mirror setup as well. You've also got an inbuilt drive recorder, a dash cam, and autonomous emergency braking. There's blind spot monitoring with a safe exit warning, adaptive cruise control, with an advanced lane keeping assistant and a lane trace assist. So not full autonomous driving, but it does have that stop and go function, and it can also read speed signs as you go. And you also have a driver monitoring system up here, which isn't annoying, and that's a good thing. And what about storage? Well, that looks like a glove box, but I can't work out how to open it. So maybe there is no glove box down there. You do have a wireless phone charging pad, 2 of them, plus 2 small cup holders, and some decent center storage down here, and more storage down here with USB-C charging and a 12-volt socket. And up here, there is no sunglasses holder, but you do get the world's biggest vanity mirrors. So I do like that setup very much. And if you do have trouble climbing in and out, it is an SUV, so sliding in is pretty easy. You do also get walk up and walk away door locking and unlocking, along with keyless entry, a remote key, and you do also have the ability to connect this car to your phone to access remote start function, door locking and unlocking, and live data. And to start the car, you just jump in and put it into drive and off you go. And what about the second row? With this seat in my position, I've got loads of knee room, loads of toe room, and loads of headroom. You can also recline the seats backwards and forwards, and over in the middle section, again, knee room, toe room, and headroom is very good, and it does feel a bit more spacious compared to a Model Y or a C-Line 7. but there is no screen like what you do get in the Tesla, but you do get directional vents, USB-C charging, and map pockets behind the seats, grab handles lighting up here, and decent door bin storage which can hold a big water bottle. And then looking over here, a flip down armrest with pop out cup holders, and for child seats, 2 ISOFIX points and 3 top tether points. And whilst the sun is shining on the sunroof, I can feel some heat coming into the interior, and this is a problem on all cars without a sunshade on the sunroof. And then moving on to boot space, you get a power tailgate which reveals 571 litres of cargo volume, and that means the boot is bigger comparing it to a BYD C-Line 7, but not as big comparing it to a Tesla Model Y, and there is no front storage section, so no storage for your charging cables. But overall, for large items of luggage, the boot is still pretty suitable. You have underfloor storage, and for additional space, you can also fold down the seats, and they almost fold down flat. Plus, there are tie-down points to keep items in place, shopping bag hooks, LED lighting, a 12-volt socket, and vehicle to load function. Now, there are 3 different versions of the G6 to choose from. The first one is the standard range, which features a rear-mounted electric motor, a single-speed transmission, a 68.5 kilowatt-hour LFP battery, and 480 kilometers of EV range. And then stepping up to this long-range version, it is also rear-wheel drive, but it does also come with more range, 525 kilometers of EV driving, and stepping up to the performance all-wheel drive version, 2 electric motors, but less range at 510 kilometers of EV driving, but 0 to 100 is in 4.1 seconds. And you also have a charging port on the driver's side rear, 11 kilowatts of AC charging, and this does also sit on an 800 volt architecture, so depending on the speed of your charger, you can charge from 10 to 80% in around 12 minutes. Okay, let's go for a drive in the G6. Your gear selector is up here, your indicators on the left, and that also makes a camera appear. And then there's great forward visibility, good side vision, decent side mirrors, but the back window does come across a bit narrow, but at least the 360 camera is pretty good when it comes to definition, and you've also got a camera up here as well. The steering though, I think a Model Y just feels a little bit more sporty. It might come across a bit too direct to some people, but this, you have a big, bulky steering wheel, and there's no feedback. You can adjust the steering modes, but it's either too light or too heavy. It doesn't make it much more sportier or direct. But I think that might be a problem for someone that likes driving. But for a normal person, the steering is fine. It's got plenty of grip. You have Michelin tyres, thick profile Michelin tyres, mind you. I have noticed though, there is a bit of tyre noise coming into the cabin, but it is overall nice and quiet, nice and premium. And when it comes to comfort, it isn't as soft as a BYD C-Line 7, but it does absorb bumps really nicely. It's not too firm, not too soft, it's just got a good balance of being bearable. And we do have one of the worst roads in Sydney. There are potholes everywhere, so it's pretty good from that perspective. It's not a locally tuned suspension setup, but I find it pretty relaxing. There's just no under-thigh support, so the seats on a long trip, I can't really get comfortable. That's probably my only drawback. The acceleration is nice and smooth. You have a floor-mounted accelerator pedal and many different drive types to choose from, and that is a bonus because in most Chinese EVs, well, most Chinese cars, that is something they don't often get right. And even the brake pedal feel, it's progressive, and you can also adjust the regen braking to your preference. And then when it comes to driver assistance, again, that works pretty well. No annoying beeps and bongs, especially from that driver monitoring system. Setting the adaptive cruise control, you just flick that down and you've got a stop and go function built in. It's not a full self-driving car, but it does have an advanced lane trace assist and adaptive cruise control. So if the speed sign recognition picks up that you need to go 40, for example, it'll readjust. So from a tech point of view, it is very good in here, much better compared to what you'll experience in a BYD, for example. And in terms of performance, if you put your foot down, it does take off. It's not the all-wheel drive version, but there's plenty of grunt for getting onto the freeway, for example. So it is fast. Well, all EVs are pretty fast anyway. Now, what about the battery setup? Xpeng says that this particular version of the G6, the long-range rear-wheel drive version, will achieve 525 kilometers of pure electric range. And on your screen is what I left with, driving from Western Sydney into the CBD, and I have done some driving around the suburbs, and on your screen is what I'm currently averaging. So let me know your feedback in the comments down below. And again, on your screen is what I returned the car with. So let me know if that is acceptable. And with driving impressions out of the way, let's finish off with a verdict. And so, what is my conclusion on the Xpeng G6? Well, the technology is amazing, it's got ultra fast charging, and some of the updates have improved the product. Yes, in certain areas it's not perfect, but if they do introduce VOA 2.0, the self-driving feature by Xpeng, I think that'll make this a strong product offering. But like with most new cars coming out, they just need to offer something different, because they've got this, a medium-sized SUV, which is already in a competitive space, and the GX, the one that looks exactly like a Range Rover, and a luxury MPV. Whereas, in my opinion, if they brought the P7, I did drive that in China, that would be a standout product. It looks fantastic and it drives amazing. But also, share your feedback on Xpeng ANZ's new ownership structure. I'd love to hear from you. And would you consider a G6? Tell me why. Or would you go out and buy something else, like a Model Y or a C-Line 7? I've also got plenty of videos coming very soon, including some Xpeng models. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.